Hello everyone, this is Helen H. and welcome to my channel, Moss Cottage. Today I thought we would play with some jelly printing. I did these really cool ones a little bit earlier and I thought they turned out super well, so I was going to show you how to do those, and then I wanted to share one other little thing with you that I did that I thought was kind of cool. So let's get started. I'm using just one stencil today. I have to get some stencils for jelly printing, which means they've got these larger holes like this, because if you have stencils like this, it's kind of difficult unless you are sponging the paint on. It's kind of difficult to get good pulls with very small holes on stencils. So I like these really big ones with the bigger holes, and they do make, quite an impact when you're doing your pulls. So this is the only stencil I'm going to be using today, and I'm not going to make this a long video, but I want you to inspire you to get your jelly print out or jelly plate out. And let me tell you something. This jelly plate is fairly new to me. I am a new jelly plater, so my results aren't that great yet, because it does take some practice and getting used to. But that being said, before I had this jelly plate, I was actually making painty papers, and what I was doing was I had, I think it was either 8 by 10 or 10 by 12, a piece of glass from a frame that I bought at a thrift shop for $1, and I got rid of the frame. I didn't need the frame. I just used the piece of glass. And what I did, because the edges were sharp, I wrapped all the edges really well with masking tape. And I used that piece of glass as a mono printing surface, and it does get some good results. It's not quite as good as jelly print, but for a couple years, that's what I was using until I bought this jelly plate. So let's get on with it. Let's just get some paint on here. As you can see, I already has been playing a little bit. For me, it's kind of a, oops, Helen, that's way too much paint. It's kind of a big deal for me to jelly plate, or use my jelly plate, because I've got to do it in my dining room. So what that means is, I can't eat or anything. So if I get my jelly plate out, I'm going to be doing quite a lot of jelly plating. So at one time, because it's such a pain to drag everything in here from my craft room into here. And I'm probably using way too much paint here. But we can always brayer some off. I think the best pulls are actually when you use the least amount of paint. And this is way too much paint, I can already tell right now. But what we're going to do is get these colors kind of blended together, and then we'll pull some of the paint off if we can here. So it's kind of a rainy day here. Well, it is a rainy day here in Virginia, this part of Virginia where I am. So I thought it's a Sunday, so I don't do any work on Sunday. So I thought, yeah, I'm gonna get my jelly plate out and play with it. Okay, so here's my first layer, and I just kind of ombre'd the paint colors. And this is a 9 by 12 jelly plate, so it's kind of large, so I do have to move the stencil at some time. But what I'm going to do is go ahead and take a piece of paper, and I am going to just pull off from here. And see, because you have to rub the paper into the stencil. If you have really small stencil holes, it's just not going to work so well. So I'm just rubbing it down like this and pulling it off. And you see, I just get the basic, but it is ombre, so it looks kind of cool, right? So I just get that basic green. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to lift this up, and I am going to, let's see, I'm trying to think what I did before, because I really like these ones that I showed you, and I'm trying to think, how did I do that? So I've got this one now. Oh, what did I do? Okay, I'm just playing here. We're just gonna figure this out. I'm gonna go ahead and take a pull of these, which would be the opposite. Oh, I know what I did. I know where I went wrong. Okay. All right, I got it. Okay. I got it. Okay. So, oops, here's the opposite. Here's kind of the opposite right here. And it's funny, on this one, it doesn't look that the yellow was so blotchy, but look how blotchy the yellow was. Okay, so I made a big mistake, a big boo-boo there, but it's okay because, you know, I'm learning. And hopefully you'll be learning with me. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pull this other part here on the back of an envelope, like this. So there's just that one. And these ones, actually, I'm not gonna be using. I'm gonna have to redo this all, but I don't wanna waste the paint and I don't wanna waste the pattern. So these are all just, you know, envelopes from junk mail and stuff. And I like to use everything I can, so. And you know, if you wanna just use the paper, you can cut it away from the front, you know, and just use the print on the back. Okay, so now, now that I know what not to do, let's try to go ahead and do what to do, okay, to get this result, these results, because I think these are really cool. Okay, so we're gonna try this again. All right, we know what not to do. We're gonna ombre our colors again, and this time I'm hopefully gonna learn and not use quite so much paint. And then we had that one, then we had this is some kind of neonish green. We're going to use some of that. And then we're going to use the yellow. And just use some of that. Okay. All right. Now I got it. Oh, I turn the camera on and the stupid comes out, right? And see, I don't have enough of that green. I need a little bit more of that. Oops, but I didn't want it there. Oh, that's just one of those things. That's just that yucky thing. Good. Okay, there we go. Probably too much again, but yep. But like I said, I'm new to jelly plating. There's lots of good people that you can watch. Denise Lush has lots of wonderful jelly plating videos. Carolyn Doobie. She's another one, D-U-B-E. She does great stuff with jelly plate. I love her because she's just fearless and she will use anything to make marks on her jelly plates and what have you. She's really, really fun to watch. And then Jelly Arts, who makes the jelly plates, they've got wonderful, wonderful videos too. Okay, so now this is the way we did this other one. We just did the ombre paint. No stencils, no nothing. So we're just gonna take a piece of paper and I'm just gonna put this on here. Should I go that way? No, I'm gonna go this way so I can get two. So I'm just gonna do this. And just pull with the colors, the ombre colors. All right. Yes, so this is what that one looks like. And then I'm gonna pull an envelope. You can't see it, but I have a huge stack of like envelopes and stuff next to me here, just trashy envelopes and bits like that. So then I'm going to do this. And this is another brayer I have. You can use another brayer if you want to push down, if you want to get a good pull. So, okay, so that's just the ombre like that, okay? So we've got those. Now, I'm just gonna go ahead this time. I do have a lot of green on here, and I'm thinking, do I wanna leave it there or do I wanna pull it off? I think I'm gonna pull it off. So you can do this a couple ways. One of the things I like to do when you've got paint left over and you wanna get it off, of course, Jelly Plate says you can spritz it and then use a baby wipe or something, but I don't want to waste paint, the paint that's on here. And I actually like the effect of pulling this half pulled paint off. I like to use white to pull colors off, because the white blends with if you're using white paper, it blends with the white paper in the background, and you really only see the color that you're pulling off. And I like that. So this isn't going to clean it all the way, but it will clean it a little bit. So let's go ahead and get some paper and pull that. And we're just gonna, of course, you know, you can put your jelly plate away dirty, and you know, it's actually great to do that, because then when you go to use it the next time, the paint reactivates the paint, and you'll pull up all those other dirty pieces, which is great. Okay, so I'm just gonna pull this. Oops. So you can see it did tear the paper a little bit, my paper there, but see how much of the darker green I got off. That's a great background there to do some more jelly printing over. And then I'm going to get not a strip of paper, another envelope, and let me move this up a tiny bit and do this down here. All right. And that's what that one looks like. So you can see between this and this, just using the white paint, it really, you know, muted the colors really and made them quite pretty. But now look at my jelly plate, how much cleaner it is. And there is a reason. I mean, usually I don't mind having stuff on my jelly plate, but to get the effect that we're looking for here, I don't want my colors to be so blended together. I want them to stand out a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some other colors on the jelly plate, and I'm going to ombre them again. So I'm going to use this blue, a darker blue, like I guess this would be considered like a navy blue. And then I'm going to use this. Now this is actually screen printing paint, but it doesn't matter. Paint is paint. It smells a little different, and it's got a really thick texture, but that's okay. We're going to use that. And then another just cheap craft paint, the white. And we're going to ombre these again. Like that. All right, so let me just get this on here. It's so fun to get all jelly-y. And like I said, if you don't have one, you can make your own using gelatin. I've never done that myself, but there's tons of recipes. I know Al John has a video. Amy from the YouTube channel Al John, she made one. Okay, so there's that. So now we've ombre'd the blue. Now we're going to get our stencil out. Okay, our trusty stencil. So we're going to put our stencil down here, and let me not get paint on my clothes. I think that might be too late. Okay, so I put that down, and let me get my, okay, so this was this one right here. So I'm going to go ahead. Now see how I did this one, the dark paint, and then it ombres to light? I'm going to flip it so that the dark is here and the light is here, because if I do dark to dark, I think it might get too dark. So I'm just going to try and see what happens if I flip it over so that the light's on the dark, dark's on the dark, or dark's on the light. And in the middle, of course, will be this middle shade of both. So I'm just going to go ahead and rub real well. And pull that off. Cool. Yeah, there you go. See? Isn't that awesome? Okay, so that's one. And now I'm going to lift this up. And see, I've got the circles there. So let me get let me get this light one here. that I did the pull, and let me do that one. It's crazy how fast the time goes when you're jelly plating. It really goes fast, and it's just so fun to see, because sometimes you really don't know what effect you're going to get. Oops. This paper that I'm using here is really cheap, and it keeps kind of sticking and pulling, but that's okay. So here's this one, again with the ombre. Okay, now I'm going to take down here where I didn't do anything, I'm going to put my stencil back on and use, let's see, where's my other, this one, this dark one here. So again, I'm going to flip it so the darks with the light, lights with the dark. And do this. Pull that off. So cool. And I have some ideas on how to take this further that I'll show you. And then here's the other light one that we did. So I'm just going to lift the stencil and do this here. And you can see how cool that one is. So those are really cool. I really like those. Now, I do still have a lot of stuff on my jelly plate here. And I did one, excuse the reach, I did one earlier that was like this, that came out like this. And I just love that. That is just so awesome. So if I remember correctly what I did, which I may or may not remember, I sprayed it a little bit with water to get that paint kind of reactivated. Then I took just white paint and put it on. Now, because the jelly plate actually has oil in it, it's going to resist it a little bit. It's going to like pull back, like, you know, like oil and water doesn't mix. There is oil on your jelly plate. And if you can see how it's pulling back like that, that's okay. I'm just going to brayer a little bit more. Make sure it's all nicely covered. And then before it pulls off, I'm going to go ahead and take another piece of paper. And I'm going to put it here. I have been, I have a Clever Fox planner, and I absolutely love it because one of the things at the end of the week, well, at the beginning of the week you set like some goals, and one is like the biggest goal that you have. And if you reach that one, oh, look how beautiful that is. Oh, I love that. If you reach that goal, you should reward yourself. And so when at the beginning of the week when you're setting the goal and you write it down, underneath it's what you're going to reward yourself with if you reach that goal. And I think maybe next week, I've already done this week's planner, but maybe next week I will reward myself if I reach my goal by buying myself another large stencil for this. I saw some really nice ones on Stencil Girl. Theirs are kind of pricey, but they're really cool. But I have some time to do a little bit of research because the Crafters Workshop, they have some nice ones too. Look how beautiful this is, and this is just pulling off this unused paint here. And I want to try one more thing with y'all. I want to just try watering it and just using no more paint, but just using water. Okay, that's already been 20 minutes. I can't believe that. Let me just get another piece of paper here. I'm just gonna try and see, just with water and no more paint, just water. Let's see what that does. And you know, the thing with the jelly plate, I made some videos what you can do with ugly jelly prints that salvage them, and it really works well. But you know, if you don't have colors that are too dark, like these are very dark, if I know what I want to do with these ones, but if you had really dark ones like that weren't working out, it's kind of hard to save them. But if you have lighter ones, you can just keep going and piling up more and more colors on top. And I'm pulling this gently because I just used water, so the paper is very wet. But you know, you don't want to miss any of that delicious paint. Look at that. Isn't that awesome? And you can see, you know, rings in there. You can see rings. I see some shine on there, and I think that there might be some spray on there that is left over. So guys, I just hope that you are inspired to get out your jelly plate and to play a little bit and to make some really cool backgrounds. And I'm showing you some of the ones we made today. Oh gosh, they're sticking together. I really like these. I think these are super fun. Like, look like bubbles or something like that. And this one, and this one. And then of course, some of my favorites though are these that have been pulled just from the used up paint. Just the used up paint on the jelly plate. So I'm going to keep on playing, but I'll let you all go. Have a good day. Thank you for watching my video. Please give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And if you haven't subscribed, I ask that you subscribe. I do all kinds of things. I'll be doing some more jelly plating. Like I said, I am just a beginner, so they're not great. But, you know, hopefully I'll learn, and maybe you can learn along with me. So until the next video, guys, I hope you're all safe and blessed. Bye-bye.